The random jottings of Donald J. in Nelson in Pendle, Lancashire. Location: Ribchester, Osbaldeston Hall. Now a farmhouse-type haunting manifestation. Spewing blood from an open wound in his chest, this person was killed in a duel on site, and periodically returns to remind the living. There are floorboards within the building that are still blood-stained, so the legend states. Osbaldeston Hall had stood for centuries, weathering the test of time with its walls steeped in history and stories. But amongst the tales of old, there was one that stood out, the story of the Bloody Man. Legend had it that the Bloody Man was a victim of a duel that had taken place on the grounds of Osbaldeston Hall. He was spewing blood from an open wound in his chest as he collapsed onto the blood-stained floorboards of the old house. The sight of his death had never been forgotten, and his ghost was said to return periodically, haunting the living. People whispered about the Bloody Man, but no one had ever seen him, until the day that Lucy arrived at Osbaldeston Hall. She had inherited the house from her late grandmother and had always been fascinated by its history. She was determined to uncover the truth behind the Bloody Man. As she walked through the old house, she couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The air was thick with the scent of old wood, and every creaking floorboard seemed to whisper secrets of the past. It was then that she heard it, the sound of footsteps coming from upstairs. Lucy climbed the stairs, her heart pounding with anticipation. She reached the top of the staircase, and there he was, the Bloody Man. His eyes were hollow, and blood dripped from his chest, staining the floorboards beneath him. Lucy was frozen with fear, unable to move as the ghostly figure approached her. She could feel his icy breath on her skin as he spoke, his voice a mere whisper. "You seek the truth, do you not?" he asked. Lucy could only nod in response. "Then follow me," he said, beckoning her to follow. Lucy hesitated for a moment before taking a deep breath and following the Bloody Man through the dark halls of Osbaldeston Hall. She could feel the weight of history bearing down on her as she walked, each step echoing through the halls. Finally, they arrived at a room that Lucy had never seen before. It was a small room, tucked away in a corner of the house. Inside was a trunk, covered in dust and cobwebs. The Bloody Man gestured towards the trunk, and Lucy slowly opened it. Inside were letters, documents, and a small journal. As Lucy read through the papers, she realized that they were written by the Bloody Man himself, describing the events that had led to his death. It was then that Lucy realized the truth. The Bloody Man had not been killed in a duel, but had been murdered by someone he trusted. The papers revealed a conspiracy that had been hidden for centuries, and Lucy knew that she had uncovered something that would change the history of Osbaldeston Hall forever. As she left the small room, Lucy knew that she had fulfilled her destiny. The Bloody Man had led her to the truth, and she would ensure that his story was told for generations to come. By Donald J.